Hello, welcome to Anita the Pedagogue channel. Today we want to look at some lesson in literature, a continuation of the analysis of The Dilemma of a Ghost by Ama Ata Aidoo. Today we want to look at Act 1 of The Dilemma of a Ghost. Let's begin. The plot development, and then the literary devices, then a summary of the analysis for Act 1. So for the plot development, when we talk about a plot, usually we are talking about the sequence of events, the chronological sequence of events in a piece of literature. And represented by a triangle here, we have the beginning of the narrative of the drama, then the rising action when issues and conflicts begin, then the climax of these issues and conflicts when they reach its apex, which is the climax. Then there is a falling action where solutions or adjustments are made to the issues or the conflicts that have reached its climax, and ends with a denouement. That is the end of the piece of literature, and in this case, a drama. Let's continue with our plot development now, focusing on Act 1 of The Dilemma of a Ghost. So the Act 1 continues the plot development because we already looked at the prelude, which gave us an introduction. And it starts with the appearance of two characters, first woman and second woman. They talk about the various challenges they face as women in order to feed themselves and their families. Now, one important thing that happens here is that second woman feels first woman is luckier due to her small family, and that is because first woman is childless or barren. But first woman thinks that that is not the case, and that the childless or the barren woman has issues of her own. They continue their conversation by gossiping about Esicom, and the highlights of their gossip are that her son Atu, who went overseas to study, is back, and that Esicom's death pile, the monies that she borrowed to raise Atu and take him overseas to study, even though the son is back, the debts haven't been paid yet. And that Esicom should be ashamed of living in a clan house. And that is because for the accounts, and that is the tribe of Atu, when a woman marries, she is expected to go and live in her husband's house, but that is not the case for Esicom. She still lives with her mother Nana in their family home, even though she's married, and that is the reason why first woman and second woman say that she should be ashamed of living in a clan house for this long. We continue with the plot development. Now the next scene in Act 1 happens at the Odumna clan house, and the family members have met to welcome Atu, whom they also refer to as master, or as almost close to a white man. And this is because due to his travel overseas, they accord him so much respect, and so refer to him as master, even though he is not the oldest in the family. The family members who meet are Nana, Esicom, Mansa, Petu, Akroma, and Monka. It is at this scene that one of the key issues that brings conflict that lingers on for a while in the drama occurs. And that is when Esicom sold a sheep she was rearing in Atu's name. Her plan was to use or add more money to it and give to Atu's father. for him to pay for a bride price for his owner, meaning that Eskom was already thinking about a spouse for her son and already making arrangements for that. And it is at this point that Atu reveals that he has already married. Wow. So you would realize that in Akan culture, marriage is a union between two families. Also, usually parents play a key role in the selection of a wife for their sons and a husband for their daughters. So Atu's marriage shocks all his family members and they express it in various forms, with all of them asking, "You are married? Married?" Eskom asks, "Who is your wife?" And Atre says, "When did you marry?" Whilst Masa says, "Who is your wife?" Eskom says, "What is her name?" Eskom asks again, "Where does she come from?" Well, Atos answers that Oleli is his wife. The story is getting interesting. So, on the plot development, the conflict increases with the answer of Ato to Atre that his wife has no tribe. Well, this troubles Nana very much as she says, "I have not heard of a human being born of the womb of a woman who has no tribe." Here she seeks to find the roots of Oleli as she asks, "Are there trees which never have any roots?" Well, Ato answers that his wife is an American. And when they ask further, he says that no, she is not a white. Black, not white as his folks implied. So his wife is Afro-American or an African-American, as her ancestors were from Africa, but were shipped as slaves. Now the conflict lingers on as the grandmother of Atu, Nana, accuses Oleli of being a slave because her descendants or her ancestors were taken as slaves, even though she is currently not a slave. But once her descendants or ancestors are slaves, and again, in the tradition of Atu's folks, it means that she is a slave. Your great-grandfather cannot be a slave whilst you are not. The family of Atu are horrified and all the women break to violent weeping. This causes their neighbors, that is first woman and second woman, to rush in weeping. Their thoughts were that Nana, the old lady, had died, but she told them to save their tears for her funeral, that she is not dead. And Nana appeals to them by saying, "My child has gone and brought home the offspring of slaves." She asks the first woman and second woman to help her weep due to this predicament. Act 1 ends with a monologue from Nana, and then she eventually makes a soliloquy. So a monologue might be delivered to an audience within a play. It's usually a conversation to the audience. So you'll see one character speaking for a while, not to any character, but the audience. Or it might be delivered straight to the audience, sitting in the theater and watching the play. But a soliloquy is a speech that one gives to oneself. So sometimes the character is not speaking to any other character and not to the audience but to him or herself. When that happens, then it's a soliloquy. So the soliloquy was said after the monologue. So with the monologues, "My spirit mother ought to have come for me earlier. Now what shall I tell them who are gone, the daughter of slaves who come from the white man's land? Someone should advise me on how to tell my story. My children, I am dreading my arrival there, where they will ask me news of home. Shall I tell them or shall I not? Someone should lend me a tank, light enough with which to tell my royal dead that one of their stock has gone away and brought to their sacred precincts the wayfarer. So you realize that even at this point, everyone except Nana starts leaving the stage. So Nana stays along, and the rest of the things she says are a speech that she gives to herself. Now, some literary devices that are in Act 1 are a personification. Already noticed slumber is stealing over my senses. So personification is giving non-human things human attributes. So slumber cannot steal. It's human beings that can steal and other animates. Transliteration. When we talk about transliteration, it is directly translating from one language to the other without observing critically its appropriate meaning in the other language it is being translated into. So in the dilemma of a ghost, we have lots of transliteration from the Fanti language, Akan, into English. An example is, so I try not to put my tongue in your face, and trying to say that he tries not to talk about issues that concern them, but because this has been translated literally from Fanti. Also, euphemism. When we talk about euphemism, it is using a more appropriate language or saying something that is bad or not appropriate in a nicer way. An example is when AC says, some of us did not hear the school bell when it rang, to imply that she is uneducated. Also, there is the use of proverbs. An example is, for no one knows what the man of fame and honor was like when he was a child. To show that you can or you do not see a great man when the person is young, or you don't know how a great man will be when that person is young or when that person is close to you until such a time when the person gains the fame and honor. Also, we can soon know the bird which will do well, for its nest hangs by the wayside. This is also to tell that if a person is going to be great, there are some traits, some characteristics that you see in the person to tell you that indeed this person will do well in life. Also, one must take time to dissect an ant in order to discover its entrails. This proverb also means that when there is an issue, one needs to look at it carefully and delve into it to find its solution. Now let's look at a summary of Act 1. So the rising action is the beginning of the conflict of cultures when Atuyosin, a young Ghanaian, goes to America to study and returns home with an African American, Ulali, as his wife. Without the extended family having a say in his marriage, he decided to marry this lady without informing his family. Now, in the Akan tradition in Africa at large, parents play a key role in choosing a suitable spouse for their children. Thus, marriage is seen as a union of two families and not two individuals. The first and second women are noted for their clever, humorous conversations on the importance of children in Akan traditional marriage, and also light is thrown on the financial situation of Esikom after the return of Ato from America. So a quick recap, we've looked at the plot development of Act 1, we've also looked at some literary devices, and there are other lessons on this channel that you can take a look at. I hope this lesson was useful to you. Please put in your comments and questions and I'll respond to them. Do like, share and subscribe to this channel. Until I come your way again, keep learning and be the best version of yourself.